Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are creating this CSS box shadow generator using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now this is our progress as of now. We have written the code to generate the box shadow. So if I move these sliders, we can see that the box shadow is generated over here. And we can go ahead and play with these different sliders. And we can also change the color and also change this to inset. So this is what we had done in the previous video. Now in this video we will generate the CSS code over here. So right now if you click on this generate code button, nothing happens because we haven't written the code to generate the CSS code over here. So in this video we will do that. Let's get started. Alright, so this is our source code. Let's go to the index.html file. And if you scroll down, here we can see that this is the division where we will have the code displayed. So let's go ahead and add the pre and the code tags over here. So I'll just type pre and code, and in this we will display the code. So we will add some code over here by default. So here I'll just type box shadow colon, and if you scroll up we can see that we have the default values displayed over here. So we have the x offset set to 0, then we have the y offset set to 0, and then we have the blur radius set to 6. We have the spread radius set to 0, and then we have the opacity set to 0.3. So we have to set the color in RGBA format, and right now the color is set to black by default, and we also don't have the inset set by default. So let's add the code over here. So I'll just type 0 pixels for the x and the y offsets, and then we have 6 pixels for the blur radius, and then we have 0 pixels for the spread radius, and then we have the color RGBA and 0, 0, 0, and the opacity was set to 0.3. So this is basically the code of the default box shadow. So if you go back to our design, this is how it looks right now. Now let's go ahead and write the code for the generate code button. So if you go back to our index.html file, here we can see we have this button with the class of generate code button, and then we have to generate the code inside this code tag, which is inside the code division, which is inside the result division. So let's go to our main.js file, and we have already referenced the generate code button. Now let's reference the code. So let's type const code equals document.querySelector, and we have a division with the class of result, and in that we have a division with the class of code, and in that we have the pre and the code tags. Right now let's add an event listener to this generate code button. So here I'll just type generate code button dot add event listener, and we will listen for the click event, and when we click on the generate code button we will run a function called generate code. And now let's create this function. So I'll just type const generate code, and if you scroll up we can see that we have some code over here. So we can use most of this code for the generate code button. So I'll just copy this if condition from here, and let's paste it over here. Now what we need to do is we need to display this line of code inside this code tag over here, and we have already referenced the code tag over here. So here I'll just type code.innerHTML equals, and I'll just add all of this inside backticks, and I'll just remove this backtick from here, and I'll just delete all of this, and here we'll just type box shadow colon. Right now let's copy this line of code, and I'll just paste it over here, and we just need to remove inset from here. Right now let's see whether this works. So let's go back to our web page, and let's change some of these values, and now let's click on generate code, and we can see that the updated code is displayed over here. Let's check out all the other values. Right now let's click on generate code, and we can see that the updated code is displayed over here. Now the last thing we will do is we will add syntax highlighting for this code. So you can just Google for highlight.js, and you will find this website called highlightjs.org. So let's go to the website. Now let's click on get version, and here we can see we have the cdn.js link. So we can just copy and paste this link to our HTML file. So I just copy this first CSS link, and let's paste it over here inside the HTML file in the head tag. And let's go back and let's copy the script and let's paste it over here just before the body ends and before the main.js file. And now to make this work, we have to call a function called highlight all. So let's create a script tag, and here you have to type hljs.highlightAll. Right, now let's go back to our web page, and now we can see we have the syntax highlighting, and let's click on generate code. And after we generate the code, some things are missing. So right now we can see that by default we have these different colors, and if I click on generate code, we don't have the correct highlighting. So let's go back to our JavaScript file, and after generating the code, here also we will call the highlight all function. So let's type hljs.highlightAll. Alright, now let's go back and now let's change some of these, and now let's click on generate code, and now we can see we have the correct syntax highlighting. Now you can also have different syntax highlighting styles. So if you go over here to the main page, here we can see there are different styles of syntax highlighting. So if I click on this style link, we have different styles. So you can select any of these styles, and those styles will be added to your code. So let's select one of these. Let's change the language to CSS. And I think Atom 1 Dark looks great. So let's go back, and here in the CSS, we can just change the style to Atom 1 Dark. Right, now let's save this and let's go back to our web page. And now we can see we have different syntax highlighting. So that's basically how you can create a CSS box shadow generator for your website using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Alright, so that's it for this video. I will leave the link of the source code in the description, and if you have any doubts you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.